tips, yo, strategies to share. Learn the way to market, put your business up there. Tune in every day, digital marketing, yay, we know the way. Come learn and slay. Build your brand strong, make your money long. With the podcast groove, can't go wrong. From SEO to social, emails that entice. Grow your audience big, take our advice. Tune in every day, digital marketing, yay, we know the way. Come learn and slay. Listen up now.
All right. Welcome back. It is Wednesday. We're back in the mix. Mickey Black, Jennifer J, talking all things. Well, again, not all things digital, but we're talking lead gen today, and specifically talking about lead generation for you guys out there that are looking to get started from square one. A lot of people, maybe they have a couple of emails. Actually, I know a couple of people, they keep their business emails in their Gmail, and that's all that they I talked to another guy. He's like, I got my Gmail and I got my contacts in my phone. He's like, what do I do? How do I get started? So really wanted to talk to a lot of people out there. If you don't have a CRM system set up, if you don't have your SMS messaging set up, what do you do if you've just been operating off of your cell phone with your Gmail contacts and your contacts in your phone book? How do you get started? So Jen, what do you do in that case when somebody's day one? Of course, you put them on go high level, but then what do you do next? What do they need?
Right. Step one, sign up. Right. Step two, send us all of those contacts.
So it's a good point. So
right.
How do you get them out of your phone, out of your Gmail, into the hands of somebody that can help you? How do you do that?
So usually when people are working with me, I tell them, look, I don't care if it's written on tissue paper, whatever you have it, send it to me. However you get it, screenshot it, carrier pigeon, whatever, get it to me so I can put it in the system, right? And so once we put it in the system, now, depending on who it is, we want to be able to send out messaging to them. So if it's that type of situation, just really sending out an introductory. Now, that introductory is also strategic too, right? Because you want to get their approval to message them. Because we never did it, right? We're coming from Gmail to my phone to it's business cards, it's written down. And so we want to strategically get their opt-in that, listen, it's okay for you to message me. And then we go from there.
I like that. So I want to make sure people get that, because just because you have them in your phone, just because you got the business card, doesn't really mean you have permission to email and market in that regard. So getting that opt-in, because a lot of the platforms will ding you if you don't have opt-ins, and people are like, why are you emailing me? And they click you like spam. Does that ever happen? What happens if somebody spams and says, I don't know this guy?
Mm-hmm. Now you're going into spam. Now your reputation is at risk, right? And another thing I want to say, just because you have them in your Gmail, your Yahoo, your email service provider, doesn't mean you have implied consent to send them marketing messages. Because what we're talking about is marketing messages. Now it's different when you're emailing somebody one-on-one back and forth. And that doesn't mean, oh, I'm going to just use my Gmail to send marketing messages. You know what marketing messages are. So we want to be able to say, hey, I'm getting my life together over here, and I want to start sending you crafted messaging that's going to help you. So let's just say if we're talking about realtors, well, realtors wouldn't operate that way in the first place. But realtors would say, hey, I want to start sending you messaging about the process, right? What you need to get ready. If you're looking to buy a house, you're not going to deny that, right? Because you want to know.
Yeah.
Give you the tips and tricks to help you get ready along the way. Just say yes.
So speaking of realtors, quick question, because there's when you talk about realtors, there's a lot of different levels, right? You got guys who do real estate on the weekends, and you've got people that do just full-time $1 million deals, right? So when you're talking about emails, I know sometimes people have the personal emails they might use, like Robbie Jones at Gmail, whatever. And then you've got some people who have their own domain, like Robbie Jones at realestate.com or whatever it is.
Mhm.
What is the big difference between people that use their regular Gmail and somebody who's got a specific domain with their, the suite that they pay for? Is there an advantage to one versus the other? Does it make a real big difference?
Yeah, it makes a difference when you want to start getting into software, right? Because from the software standpoint and from, the regulatory agencies that regulate, they look at you having a business attached to your domain as a legitimate business, as opposed to using your free Gmail account, right? Some software companies won't even allow you to add your gmail.com to their software. Like, you have to have your domain email, meaning your email is admin at yourdomain.com. And that's the main difference, because when you're sending out messaging, it's regulated. And us on our end, we have to register you as a real company in the United States, even with text providers, right? And
Yeah.
I can see this coming shortly for email, but we have to register you to say you're a legitimate business doing business in the United States. And yes, you can message people, but if you have a Gmail, that's not going to fly.
So okay, so let's assume I'm, kicking up my game as a real estate agent. I got my domain. I gave you my list of people, and we put them in there. We sent an initial opt-in, and they said, "Yeah, I remember this guy. This guy is great. Let's work together." What do you do then? What's the next move now that I've got my setup and my people want to hear from me? Where do I go there?
Right. So once we get it set up, just start sending the messaging, right? So after we get their approval, they've opted in, then you sit down and you figure out what's your strategy. What do I want them to know? What is going to be valuable to my customer base, right? So, um, and then the first thing you need to figure out is what is my customer base, because you have, like you said, different type of realtors. So you have commercial realtors, you have residential realtors, you have realtors who only do listings, you have realtors who only work with buyers. So, what are going to be those different segments in your list? And then, what value are you going to give to those different segments along the way?
I like that. I like the whole concept of the different segments because, and I know we are this week talking about lead scoring and how people get leads in their pipeline and are able to take different approaches to scoring and assessing value. And I think segmentation is a big piece of that, especially when judging what I hate to use the word value again, but what the lifetime value is of that customer or that person. So say for instance, you mentioned commercial real estate versus residential might be a very different price tag in terms of a $200,000 $300,000 house and a $3 million $4 million like mall or something. So a lot of times they'll use that scoring and segmentation to understand how you should value on the whole dollar ladder, the different folks. What are some tips to achieving segmentations and really putting that in there?
Yeah, so the segmentation starts in the beginning, right? And so it starts with you sitting down, figuring out, okay, what are these pathways to me? So if someone wants to, let's just go down the residential route. If someone wants to buy a house, what's the first thing? Usually they see houses, they see a list of houses, or they can fill out a form, right? And say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. Can you start sending me listings? So then on that front line, we're going to tag them as, new buyer or whatever. And then as they go along, that's when you start segmenting further. So let's just say this buyer now becomes your client who you're looking for a house for. So now we tag them and now we segment them on something else. But each time they move along a stage, we can score them. And on the other end, let's just say they're still a buyer and you're sending them listings, you could score them based off of what they look at, right? Did they open this email and look at this listing? How many times are they opening my emails for the listing? How many times did they look at the listing? If you can, capture that information, you could score them based off of that, and then pick up the phone and say, hey, I see that you've, looked at blah, 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 blah. How about you come in? Now you can get them contracted and have you talk to a lender and all of that stuff. And now you can get them contracted and go from just viewing your emails passively to, hey, let's take action. Let's get you in a home today.
That is pretty good. That's some pretty like really detailed information in terms of how you can actually make it work for yourself. So that's really good information. Now, in terms of things you can do past the email, because I know the program has a lot of capability in setting appointments or like predictive analysis in terms of who is likely to engage in that next level of getting on your calendar. What are some tools specifically that folks are using to make sure AI is kind of making sure that the people can access calendars and manage schedules and all that? How does that make it easier?
Yeah, go high level. Go high level, it makes it easier. So and then people are like wondering like, how do you do that? And it's really funny because just before I got on this call, a representative from Closebot called me. So it doesn't matter what AI program that you use. Now, of course, high level has its own, and all you have to do is train it up. I know I told people don't listen to people that say all you have to do, but it really is that simple. You take your frequently asked questions, you can put them on a Google Doc, and you can upload that Google Doc to the back end of the platform and say, hey, these are the questions. This is what I want you to ask. Here's my calendar. And because everything is attached, you're able to just select, look, this is the calendar I want you to book people on. And then you just let it go and you train it up. But it's easy because you don't have to worry about third party integrations. You don't have to worry about, going through all of this hassle just to connect it together because it's all right there in one place.
I like that. I like that. So I'm going to try and capture all of them because I think we gave people like a full end to end strategy. So first, get it together, whether it be on the napkin or on a piece of paper or Excel grid. Get the information into your system. High level is the best, but there's many out there. Then after you've gotten that, get your opt-in. So send your opt-in email. Make sure you have permission. Make sure people are aware of you and anticipate getting marketing messages from you. Number 3 is get professional. Your own domain. A lot of programs and software platforms won't even accept your Gmail. So in order to be a legit registered business and send out marketing material, you have to get your own domain. And then beyond that, once you're set up in the system, Jen, I like the whole thing of getting your FAQs together in a grid, putting it in the actual system, and then the AI can start to work from there and understand your business. So I think that's a pretty good strategy. 4 tips. People usually say they come in 5s. So I think number five might be where people can text to get more information. So I think the word is systems. And the text number, where do they text?
They text 470-517-7006.
All right. We even get a little banner here. You heard it here. Text systems to 470-517-7006. Get your systems on. And until next time, elevate your automation.
Yes.
All right, people. It's been awesome. We'll be back tomorrow with more Digital Marketing Network. We'll see you then. Cheers.
Listen up now. Gotta tell you about a show, Digital Marketing Network with a secret flow. We got the tips, yo, strategies to share, learn the way to market. Put your business